Hi everyone, welcome to the Supper Club Social, episode 6. We got Roy here. Roy, how you doing?
Not too bad.
Good deal. I am psyched to go through what we got today, which is our usual segment, Supper Club, segment of the week, Home Bar Happy Hour, the recaps. Let's get going here.
Sounds like a plan.
I'm hoping your meme game is pretty strong this week.
It's not bad. I got 3 lined up for us here.
Ooh.
That I've sent you.
The cream of the cream, right?
Yeah.
Because you've sent me like gallons.
Yeah, there's a lot. So the first one, it's titled Every Dad's Dream.
Okay.
And it's a perfectly lined, alternating light to dark lines on a lawn, freshly cut. And then it has the UFC guys. It's like the famous meme that they have.
Yeah.
The announcer is like,
whoa.
whoa.
Yeah.
And it says dads. And then that was pretty good.
When you first started that one, I was thinking it's probably a barbecue situation, but
yeah.
the one is definitely...
Yeah, that's a good one.
I go diagonal lawn or lines in the lawn.
Yeah, I did that last year. I also did circles once.
Circles? Yeah, I just don't find as aesthetically... You got the
challenging.
tree, though.
No, I'm talking about in the backyard. So it was like circle into circle into circle.
Right.
It got real confusing, so I probably won't try that one again.
What's your secret to get the lines or the different colored grass?
I haven't figured that one out. I think you have to buy some sort of attachment for underneath the lawnmower.
You know what I do? I raise the front and lower the back. It cuts the grass at an angle. That's my theory. But it works.
Maybe I'll try that next year.
Telling you, it works.
No, I just try to alternate. I mean, you can kind of tell, but I think there's some sort of special type of lawnmower that really makes them like the pros do.
I think next winter, before it snows, I'm gonna like lay some tarps down and like kind of
On the grass.
bend the grass, so then as the snow falls, it'll all be naturally
But why would
like
you
a
not
crop
just-
circle.
I know, but why wouldn't you just mow it so it's not impossible when spring comes?
Well,
Have you ever not mowed your yard before the first snow? And all of a sudden you have like a jungle when spring comes?
I've tried a lot of things, but usually I end up with a hayfield because the dog is just destroys it.
Ours is pretty bad right now. I looked out the window this morning and I was like, ugh, there's so much poop from the dog. Who knows what else is back there?
I think they poop more in the winter.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Because,
well, it's because no one's picking it up either.
They're impossible to pick up now. It's like mush.
You just got to let it become part of the fertilizer for your starter. And then
should we keep going on about poop or go on to the next meme?
Let's go on to the next one. And then the next meme I have, it's I don't remember what the character's name is, but from American Pie,
yeah,
Band Geek.
Yeah,
and it says, since 1999, if anyone says this one time
at band camp,
you are required by law to reply with at band camp.
Yeah, that's so true.
Oh, I've been guilty of it.
And it's also, if you are born after that or later on when that movie didn't come out, like you have no idea. You know it, but you don't have the timing down.
I thought that series was good until about like the third one. And then I was like, yeah, they've overplayed it.
Yeah. They, as usual, take everything as far as they can go with those shows.
And then the last one I have, it's a Boba Fett one.
Oh, good, yeah.
And it's a photo of Boba Fett and Finnick with the little scooter gang.
Oh, yeah.
Lined up like a flying V.
Yeah.
And then underneath it says this, and then underneath is like, is really just this. And it's like the original Power Rangers from like when we were kids.
Oh, right.
On mopeds.
Oh, that is so true.
But yeah.
How they could ever put those in that show is beyond me.
I don't know.
They're so obviously horrible.
And why are they the cleanest thing to ever be in Star Wars?
Yeah, they're cleaner than Boba's teeth.
Yeah, it's like some guy rolling down Hilliard in like a pimped out like El Camino or something with like hydraulics and stuff.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad that show is over.
Me too.
I've met somebody this week that I was like, have you seen any TV shows lately? And he's like, oh, I just finished Boba Fett. And I was like, eye roll. Did you like it? Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Oh.
I was like, all right, well, I'll talk to you. Okay, next subject.
Did you ask him if he'd seen The Mandalorian before?
You know, I didn't.
Or are you just going to
I didn't go into it too far.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you could have watched The Mandalorian for 2 seasons and then hop into that show and be like, oh, this is the greatest thing they've ever done.
This is really scratching that Star Wars itch.
I mean, supposedly Obi-Wan, which is coming out later this year, I believe, is all directed by Howard.
Oh,
Bryce Lee.
Oh, it's like a guy's name.
Yeah, But Ron Howard's daughter.
Bryce Lee Howard or something.
Yeah.
Sounds like Bruce
Anyway,
Lee.
she's a great director, great actress. I just can't think of her name on the top of my head.
We were just talking about her.
I'm
Dallas?
sure. Dallas. Yep, that might be it.
Something?
And either way, I mean,
Hey,
it
we're
probably
not
happens there all the
experts
time. I mean, you got a famous dad director.
Yeah.
And you got the same last name.
But she's pretty damn talented.
Yeah.
I'm excited for her.
She's in all the new Jurassic Parks, right?
Yeah.
She's like the
main woman
main
that's in with Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
I can't think of any of their characters' names either.
Well, we're going to have to because that movie's coming out soon.
Right. Boy,
yeah.
I'm starting to get nervous about these buttons I got to push, Roy. Remember our debacle last week? I think the podcast had it edited out, but the YouTube channel
had the mess up in there.
You're just on for the roller coaster ride.
But we're just two average guys, man. We're not pros.
Speak for yourself, man. All right, well, you want to move on to our supper club section of this?
Yeah,
podcast?
I mean, I could do memes all day. But
yeah, we gotta
we gotta keep
limit
this thing
it.
rolling.
When you got a bunch of kids in winter, and it's dark at like what feels like 2 o'clock.
It was like 6 o'clock yesterday.
I mean, it's getting better.
Yeah,
for
I was
sure.
like, oh man, it was such a nice sunset out in Cheney too.
But it really lends itself to just scrolling through reels and memes.
The Olympics being on and nothing else on either. You're just kind of stuck watching events you don't want to watch, and it's like, well, I can scoot through until they get the medals.
Right. Oh, that one I sent you, I think it's today or yesterday. The guy there on this train, he's like holding his jacket like he's holding a baby. This nice lady gets up for him, and then he sits down and unfolds his coat. But then he stands up laughing and gives her back her seat.
Well, did you notice the lady that was sitting next to him was like giggling about it?
That was pretty solid.
That was a good one.
I'd be tempted to try that out, but I'd also be afraid that humanity would let me down and not let me sit down.
No.
So, all right, let's keep it going.
All right, people, grab your seat. It's time for supper.
It's supper club time. Supper club time. We're going for the
Garland Sandwich Shop.
Nice local sandwich place in North
the Garland district.
Yeah,
it's on Garland. Well, on Garland, but like on a side street by the Garland Veterinary Clinic.
Yeah, like 1 block off of Monroe.
Yeah. To be exact, it's 3903 North Madison Street.
Right. Oh, yeah, their sign isn't technically on Garland.
Well, I mean,
that haircutting place is.
It is.
So, yeah, that's I love that place. I've been going there forever. Truth be told, I know the gal that owns it, and, it's a small business with just her and a couple of employees that keep it going. So, that's one reason why I like it. The other reason is the amazing sandwiches.
Yeah, their sandwiches are good.
What's your favorite one?
I normally get the Italian trio, and I get it grilled on the little panini press.
Yeah.
And then I just get whatever can of soda that I choose at that time.
Yeah. I always go Coke. Like an ice cold can of Coke, you just don't run into them.
I really want to try the Big Dill, but I just don't know if I could justify the price for a dill pickle filled with lunch meat,
Well, I've had it a bunch of times, especially if you're trying to like cut out carbs.
Oh,
like,
to get rid of the bread.
Really good. I like it.
I mean, it looks good.
But
the photos.
It does, you've got some pickle juice going on.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's tough.
I take like the little baby dills and wrap it in like the salami you can get from Costco.
Oh, really?
And I like to do that for lunch sometimes.
You've got Big Dill written all over yourself.
I know, but I just like, I don't remember the price of it, but it's just like, I don't know, man. A dill pickle stuff with lunch meat, I don't know.
I think I must do the Italian trio too, because I'm looking through the menu and nothing is jumping out at me of like, this is what you normally get. I think I've tried a bunch of different ones.
When Andrew gets something, it's normally like the Reuben that they have.
Nice. When Amy orders, we'll usually do a call-in order and I'll pick it up. And she's crazy with her sandwiches. I mean, she orders and puts on damn near everything you can put on.
Yeah.
It's impressive. Anyway, they have soups and those are always changing. Amy likes the soups. I don't usually order the soup, but not because it's not good, but just because I'm not in a soup mood. They used to have that little parklet thing out in front of the place. Did you ever?
No, when I've gone, I've always either ate inside or took it to go.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I never sat in that either, but it was cool.
Yeah, I used to go to the chiropractor on the corner of Monroe
and
Garland. And so I'd get done and then I'd go over there and then go home.
Nice. Good deal. Well, kind of a short supper club section this week because we have never eaten there together, but
No.
it's a place that we both love. I can't even think of another non-chain sandwich shop that I go to.
Yeah, that's probably it for me.
I know she gets copied by a couple other places out in the valley. So, yeah. Well, if you're in the area, right off of Garland and Monroe, grab a sandwich, and you will not be disappointed. You ready for the next segment, Ryan?
Oh, I'm ready.
It's time to dive into the segment of the week. The segment of the week. The movie is...
Tootsie.
The cocktail is...
The Dubonnet.
The Dubonnet.
Dubonnet cocktail.
Yes. I forgot the book upstairs.
Oh.
I've got some other stuff to say, so we probably should stop copying that.
Yeah.
Exactly what it says anyway. So we randomly picked from the book Cocktails of the Movies, and we landed on Tootsie. This is not a movie I would have elected to watch of my own volition,
Yeah.
but
I'm not too sure it would fly to be made in today's climate.
that's kind of what I was thinking the whole time. I was waffling between this is the worst case of somebody mansplaining something in history and the whole
LGBTQ
Q stuff.
However long it goes.
Yeah, so I mean, all that aside, watching it as a piece of history in its time, it didn't do anything horrible with those subjects, I don't think, other than just illustrate where some of our problems are today are from.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think they have to cut out. I mean, I don't know if you could even do that. I don't even know if you could do Miss Doubtfire nowadays.
Yeah. Not, I don't know. Well, you'd have to get a real, somebody that is like that in real life, or else you're basically mocking that section of the population.
Yeah, but so anyways,
we're wandering into territory I don't even know how to talk
I know,
about,
me neither,
right?
so we'll just
love everybody,
leave it at that.
But basically the movie, do you have a synopsis of the movie? You've got the beginning here, so I'm going to turn it over to you. Right. When do you want to throw this cocktail into this segment this week? Usually we stumble through it in the beginning. Why don't you go into the beginning, and then we'll
why don't you make it start?
All right, fine.
That way when we get to the part, we have it to taste.
Okay, that'll work.
All right.
I'm going to shuffle stuff around and watch.
All right. So, we'll get this going. Tootsie was made in 1982, so I was -5 when it came out. It's PG, kind of surprisingly.
I always forget you're such a baby.
And then it's an hour and 56 minutes long. It goes by pretty quick, though. It's got a lot of good comedy in it. Pretty good cast for being in 1982.
I was going to ask you, where does this movie fall with Bill Murray's other movies? Is this like Ghostbusters or
I don't know. I think
In
it's
the Army now? Or not In the Army. Stripes?
Stripes. It's probably around, maybe even before that.
It was a cool role for him.
It's got to be one of his first
like
major starring roles, I guess.
Probably after Caddyshack.
Maybe after Caddyshack.
It was an interesting role for him. I liked him in that.
It was good. I didn't know he was in the movie, else I probably would have watched it before now.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Bill Murray. But anyway, so the cast, you got Dustin Hoffman, who plays Michael Dorsey / Dorothy Michaels.
Yeah.
Good quick thinking name change for him. Jessica Lange, who plays Julie, who's like the leading actress of this soap opera that they're doing. And then Terry Garr is Sandy, and she really puts off, I feel like the lady that plays Phoebe in Friends could have taken a lot of notes from the Sandy character.
Oh, yeah.
Because they seemed like I could if they remade this movie, she would have to be, the person that plays Phoebe from Friends would have to be
I could see that.
Sandy.
That would work. And I think that Sandy girl is in Stripes. Isn't she one of the...
Oh, maybe.
Are you familiar with that?
She's like one of the
girl MPs, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like...
She might be.
There's some unsubstantiated information.
Yeah. And then you have Damney Coleman, who's Ron, who's like the director.
Oh, really?
Or
Oh, you mean the director of the movie?
of the soap opera
in the show?
movie. Yeah, not the director of the movie.
It's like, wow, bold choice. He's
Yeah.
pulling M. Night Shyamalan here, acting in his own show.
And then Charles Durning is Les, who is Julie's father in this movie. And then you got good old Bill Murray, who plays Jeff, who is Michael's best friend / roommate. And then she's not really in the movie that much, but
Right.
she's in it.
Yeah.
It's Gina Davis. She plays April when she's pretty much just in her underwear for like 2 scenes of the movie.
Pretty
and
much.
then like at the end.
Some eye candy.
Yeah.
Some 80s eye candy.
But it's got to be one of her first movies because
Yeah.
she became a pretty big name.
Yeah.
So I don't think she'd be doing scenes like that.
No, she doesn't have that much to do in the movie, but she does have kind of an important part, I guess.
But it's Gina Davis, so I mean, you have to mention her if she's in the credits.
Can you hand me the Dubonnet?
Oh, yeah. So, Dubonnet. Oh. Do you need this also?
I will, yeah. You don't want me to just ask you for individual things as I go?
Not specifically. So anyways, that's the big names of the cast and like the major characters. There's a bunch of other characters in the show, but
Every time I open a bottle of something like this, you know John Malkovich in I think it's in Rounders when somebody opens something and he's like, "Let it breathe," before you pour it.
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
All right, so the movie opens with Michael Dorsey. He's trying out for a bunch of roles and being told all sorts of different like reasons, like, "Oh, you're not tall enough." He's like, "Oh, I can be taller."
Right.
It's like, "Oh, well, you're too short." It's like, "Oh no, I can be taller. Like, look, I can put on stilts and stuff." Or
He
like,
means
"Oh,
it-
you're too short." "Oh no, I'm wearing some."
Yeah, he means it
Pads.
literally. He like takes
Yeah.
out his heel pads and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
well, actually, you're just the wrong guy."
Yeah, we're looking for something different. We're not you. And so he's doing all this stuff. They're like, "Oh, you're too old, too young." And then like he disagrees with like the directors when he does have a part. Like he's like this guy that's supposed to be dying.
Oh my gosh.
And
Yeah.
the director's like, "Oh, like during this part, maybe you should like stand up and come to the middle of the stage so the left side can see you." He's like, "You want me to? I'm dying, and you want me to stand up
Walk to
and
the
walk to the middle of the stage,
Right.
do my line, then die?"
I have to agree with him here. This seems like,
Yeah.
but the director had a point. You know, this whole
Left side of the stage.
can't see you.
But anyway, so he's doing that, and then it's cutting back to him like teaching like a new actors class. Is kind of what I was getting the vibe of.
Yeah.
Like trying to give them pointers and tips on how to be better at being character actors or whatever it's called when they dive into the role.
Yeah, he's trying to bring out their inner nest pretty
Yeah.
much on of each character.
And so it goes to all that, and then it cuts to him not getting parts over and over again, and then it goes to his day job, and he's like a waiter at some restaurant.
Oh,
And this
shoot.
is
Yeah, I think I forgot orange bitters upstairs. Sorry, keep going.
and then this is when you see Jeff's character the first time, and he's in like the area where they put the food before it's ready to go out.
Yeah.
I never worked in restaurants, so I don't know what that's called. But he's sitting there, he's like eating food off one of the plates,
Right.
and I was like, "What are you eating as food?" He's like, "Yeah." So if they ask me, "Did you try this?" I can be like, "Yeah, I eat your food." And then they finish their shift, and him and Mike, they both work there, and they're walking back to their apartment. I'm guessing this is in New York.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think they've said it once, but so they're going to New York, and they're walking back to his apartment, and he's like, "Man, are you all right?" Jeff's saying this to Mike, like, "Look at your birthday. You didn't say anything once, like, all day about it."
Oh
And
man.
he's like, "Oh, man, I just don't want to talk about it, like, let's just go to bed, pretty
Right.
much." And they get up to their apartment. Jeff opens the door, and he planned a surprise party for him, and so all of his friends are there and a bunch of other people that he doesn't know.
Right.
And it's just him.
Pretty much nails the surprise party.
Yeah. And then Michael's pretty much just walking around from, like, girl to girl, like, trying to hit on them and get their phone numbers and stuff. And then Jeff's sitting at this other table talking about, like, his play and, like, what his thoughts are on it and stuff. And there was some pretty good stuff in that scene. And then there's this one point when Mike's talking to this one girl and he sees somebody else walk in that he wants to go talk to instead. And she was like, "Oh, hey, how about you give me your number and I'll call you?" And she's like, "I already gave it to you." And he's like, "Oh, I thought you changed it." And she's like, "Since an hour ago?" And he says, "Oh, okay, yeah, I got it." And he walks off.
He's doing some crowd work there.
Yeah, like, I guess that'd be like Tinder nowadays. Like, You just ask
Yeah.
for the number, and then you move
Move
on to the
on.
next one. Yeah. But I don't know. I haven't dated anyone since like 2000 and I don't even know when.
Jeez.
8,
Yeah.
7. So,
Who knows what they're doing nowadays,
Yeah.
Roy?
but anyways, and it just goes on for them at this party for a while.
I really screwed up the proportions here.
That's fine. And then Sandy's talking about this when we meet Sandy.
Mhm.
She's talking about she has some audition in the morning. She doesn't know when she's going to plan for it because they've been there so late.
Right.
And then her date left with somebody else, and so Michael's like, "Oh well, I'll take you home because she didn't have money for a cab."
Yeah.
And so they walk to her place, and they're doing these like her lines for the part.
Yeah, they're running
She's
through the
not
lines.
angry enough or something like that.
Right.
She can't get mad enough.
Yeah.
And so Michael's like poking at her, like, "Oh, come on, like, get angry, like, be mad."
Yeah.
So he's like insulting her, like while she was trying to do the role, and she's like, "Oh, that was perfect."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, you have to come with me tomorrow so I can be mad."
Yeah, you got to get me mad
You gotta
again.
make me mad on the way there. And so then they show up the next morning to this audition, and she's all nervous and like, "Oh, like I don't know."
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Well, wish me luck." And he's like, "Fuck you." And she's like, "What? Wish me luck?" He's like, "No, fuck you."
I like
And he
it.
says it like 3 or 4 times to her.
Oh, it's so good.
And then she goes in there, and then she ends up not getting the part.
Right.
Doesn't even get to read her lines.
No,
And then,
she was like the wrong body type or something,
yeah,
basically.
something they didn't like about her, so they didn't even let her read. And then
Go ahead. Sorry.
Michael like knows like somebody there.
Yeah,
or,
like
a director or something,
mm-hmm.
but he's not there anymore because he got someone's like, "Oh no, he doesn't work here anymore. He's shooting some play on Broadway."
Right.
And then I guess he was supposed to get that role.
Yeah.
So he's all pissed. So then he like runs across town
Oh man.
to his agent, and they're sitting there. He's like on a business call,
Yeah.
and like the secretary's like, "No, you can't just go in there." Like he's a frequent flyer,
Right.
Like flying in here. It seems like,
Yeah.
because you're just starting to notice, like figure out who he is
Yeah.
at this part of the movie.
Yeah, they don't. It's funny the pacing of movies in the 80s because
Yeah.
they don't like do a ton of legwork to
No.
tell you much about him. You just find out in the moment.
Yeah,
of
you just hop right into
who
like,
he is.
the
Yeah.
downfall of his acting career. It seems.
Yeah.
But so he's bust into his agent's room office, and he's on a phone call. He's like, "No, we need to talk right now."
Right.
Because it's something about the West Coast. He's like, "Well, this is a coast.
Yeah.
This is a coast too, right here."
Not the best
Yeah.
reasoning, but
Yeah.
it worked.
And so he puts the on hold. And Michael gets all pissed off because he didn't get this role that this director guy
Yeah.
is doing now. And he's like, "Well, you promised me I had a shot at that role." And he's like, "I didn't. It's not my job to get you roles. Like, I fill roles."
Yeah.
And he's like, "The last thing he did was like a tomato."
The tomato.
He's
Oh
like, "I
my
got you a
gosh.
tomato roll. And
Yeah.
they asked you to stand." He's
Yeah.
like, "Tomatoes don't have legs. Like, tomatoes don't walk around."
No, they asked him to sit. And he's like,
Oh,
but
yeah.
this tomato has legs. Why would he sit?
Yeah.
Tomatoes don't sit.
And so he goes on this huge rant about how he's like the best vegetable in all the world,
Yeah.
and how he was like some tossed salad in some other commercial or something.
Oh man, he does. Dustin Hoffman. It was.
He's that had to be one of his earliest movies.
Yeah, I think so. There's a few before that, but he's
Like,
just. It's fun to see him young and
Yeah.
acting like I really only know him from Meet the Parents,
And
pretty
like Rain
much.
Man,
Yeah, yeah.
and then The Graduate.
Well, I know him in all those, Roy,
Oh,
but
jeez,
like
come on.
as in his current
Oh yeah.
iteration.
Well, yeah. Most people our age would probably only know him from Meet the Fockers.
Right.
He's the dad.
Yeah, I guess he's not even in Meet the Parents. Jeez, I'm way off. He's
Yeah.
in Meet the Fockers.
But anyways, we digress.
Yeah.
Well, so he's gone on this huge rant, and then his agent's room's like, "Dude, you're done. Like, nobody wants to work with you. You're impossible.
Yeah.
Like, directors hate you. Like, you just do what you want.
Mhm.
You never take their advice. So, like, I don't know when you're going to get another role, man. Like, you might as well go find something else to do." And so,
That's coming from his agent,
Yeah,
who's
I mean-
like makes money when he gets hired.
Yeah.
So he's like, you're
and then he starts talking about, like, this play that Jeff is writing. And, like, he's like, "Well, I didn't even read it. Like, no one wants to see
right.
a play about 2 people moving by a chemical plant. Like, you can just move to New Jersey and get that."
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I've heard things about New Jersey, but
I don't know.
who
I'm not going
knows?
to talk
I
bad
guess
about
you got
him.
that 3 Mile Island place.
Yeah. It's got
But
a reputation.
I've never been there. I think I have a couple friends that live there or around there, but I'm sure it's pleasant.
Oh, wonderful
I
place.
think
Yeah.
the Wahlbergs are from there.
The tri-state area.
Yeah. But anyways, and then Mike rants about the vegetables some more, and then he's like, "I'll show you."
Right.
And then it cuts to him walking down like the street dressed as now Dorothy.
Dorothy.
Which I was thinking the whole time her name was going to be Tootsie.
Yeah.
Because that's the name of the movie.
Right,
It's
yeah.
Tootsie. But it's not. It's Dorothy Michaels.
Dorothy.
Just his name pretty much reversed.
Right.
And he's
I didn't even realize that.
I didn't either until I was writing it down.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But, so anyways, he's walking down all high and mighty.
Yeah.
And, like, tripping over his heels.
Right.
And he goes back to where Sandy had her audition.
Mm-hmm.
And he auditions for that same role.
Same part.
Yeah. And the director's like, I don't know, something about her.
Oh, man.
I don't know. There's something about her I don't like. But
Yeah.
then there's this lady. I don't know if she's like the co-director or producer maybe of the show.
Yeah.
The older lady.
Right. I think she's like higher up above the director.
Oh, like maybe wouldn't that be a producer?
I don't know.
No. Well, whatever.
She
Anyways,
seemed like kind of like the
she like overrules
CEO,
him, it seems like.
CEO
Yeah.
of the business side of the
And she's like,
production.
no, I like her. There's something about her that I like.
Yeah.
I think you got the role. We'll send over the contracts.
Yeah.
And then they do like this line reading, or they're shooting the scene. And he's like, oh my God, what is it? Where is it? Oh, it's like, the director's like, oh, like, can you make her look a little more attractive if you pull back a little further? And the cameraman's like, what, to Cleveland?
Yeah.
I busted up laughing on that one.
Yeah. She's not too hard on the eyes. I mean,
No, I mean, later on in the movie, there's a lot of people going after her.
yeah.
But
Oh, man.
I thought that was funny because the way the cameraman said it was like total like blue collar, like guy doesn't care, like what,
Yeah.
to Cleveland,
Right.
Like, get out of here.
Are you kidding me, huh? He's a New Yorker.
But so then he gets the part, and they send over the contract, and then he tracks down his agent like at some fancy like cigar bar
man.
restaurant place.
Yeah.
And he runs into him at the door like, oh, I'm looking for the cigar bar.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, you're right here.
Honey,
It's here.
it's right here. You're right in front of it.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, thank you so much. And I thought it was weird when he goes to sit down at his table,
Oh, yeah.
the waiter like pulls
the table out.
and then pushed it back in for him.
Did you like that?
No,
Like,
that was weird.
was it a U-shaped bench?
Well, I know, but still, like,
I don't know.
so when you get out, you got to push the whole table out?
They move it for you. I
But
thought it
what
was
if you have
kind
to
of.
go to the bathroom?
You're like,
Yeah,
or what do they do in school?
yeah, I don't know. But, I mean, I was like, man, that's so weird.
Yeah, that was
Like,
odd.
why is it just not out? I mean, maybe it's a narrow restaurant. I don't know, but
They
still.
don't make anything about it in the movie. I was
No,
like, oh, must be
like,
a New York thing.
Maybe that was a thing back in the 80s that I didn't live through.
Yeah.
But that was so odd to me. I'm like, what the hell is that guy doing?
Yeah.
Like, he's not a fat guy.
No, he's an in shape, slim
Yeah.
dude, and here, let me move the
It threw
table
me off
for you.
a little bit. I was like, what the hell's going on here?
Well, we had different takes. I was like, man, I hope they bring that back. Like,
Not me.
Get that table out of my way. I'll get comfy, and you just snug it right up to the old.
I didn't like it one bit. It really messed with my head for a second. Wow. I don't know why.
Boy, you got past the part of the guy dressing up like a
Yeah.
lady, but this table coming
Well, I mean,
out.
I've seen some crazy things on the bus, so he was a pretty well dressed, I guess, cross-dresser.
Yeah,
Because he's not a drag queen,
right.
and he's not LGBTQ.
No, cross-dresser.
yeah, just-
well, he's.
yes.
I mean, he
Well, I mean,
says
he's-
he's just doing a part. He's.
Well, yeah, he's acting, I guess,
Yeah.
as a woman.
That's how we'll stay out of that whole conversation.
Yeah, so anyways.
he's just acting because that's what he says he's
Yeah, and then he corners his agent in there as Dorothy,
doing. Right.
and he's like, "What are you doing? Like, you can't just come in here and like sit next to me. Like,
Yeah.
what is this?" And he's like, "Oh no, it's me, Michael."
Right.
And he talks in his normal voice, and he's like, "What? You got to be kidding me!" I'm like, no, you need to get help, man. Like, because he already told the director that was his agent,
Right.
and so now he's got to convince.
And he had to sign the
Yeah.
contract, so yeah.
So he has to convince his agent that now he's agenting Dorothy, his female counterpart.
That's a pretty
And,
good part.
Yeah, that was pretty funny because then he's trying to have this conversation with these other two guys,
Mhm.
and he's like all over him, like, "Oh, it's been so long. Like, you're so funny."
Right.
But yeah, and then oh, that just cracked me up, especially after the whole table pulling thing.
Yeah, you're just off kilter
Yeah.
through that whole scene.
And then it shoots like, so he's got the part. He's
Mhm.
got to buy more clothes.
Right.
Because he only has like,
Yes,
a couple
he's going
outfits.
through-
So
yeah.
he's like going to all these stores shopping and like buying handbags and accessories and stuff.
So where are we at? We're probably at like 25 minutes in. 20.
Yeah,
we're
we're
really
almost to the first 30 minutes
okay.
over. And he gets back to his apartment, and he's like still partially like in costume, like he's got his, like hair holder back and stuff. And he's just complaining to Jeff, like, "Oh man, those women are just vultures, man. They're going after this bag.
Yeah,
and
the
like,
hand.
Oh man, I thought I was gonna lose a hand." And then Jeff's like, "Well, this is all." He's not too sure about this whole thing.
No,
he thinks he's going a little off the deep end here.
You can tell they've been roommates forever, like, and work together. And he's seeing Michael do some crazy stuff, but he's like, I'm not so sure this is gonna work.
Yeah. And there's a whole thing with like the telephone ringing now, because now he's like, well, he can't answer the phone.
He can't answer it.
It might be for Dorothy.
I think Dorothy's an independent, lives alone woman. That was he's
like, what do I do if my girlfriend calls, or if someone calls her apart from me? I don't know. But you just can't answer it.
So he is just playing a character of a woman, but that was just so funny.
Taking it into his personal life too. He can't just
it's
leave
affecting
it at
his friend.
Yeah. And so his friend's like, well, this is great, because they're trying to get money to do Jeff's play.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be like $8,000 or something like that.
Right.
And nobody wants to give it to him because nobody likes the play.
Yeah.
And Jeff's like, what's great you're doing this like for me, like I really appreciate it, but like it's just for the money, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're not doing this just so you can put on all these little outfits,
right?
And then Michael's like, I'm not even gonna answer that question,
right?
I'm not even gonna entertain it.
Yeah.
Jeff kind of just like, oh yeah, okay. He doesn't know.
He's not on board.
No, he's a little beside himself. I think he's not on board with the whole thing.
He's not actively not supporting him, but he's just not gonna give it his seal of approval.
Yeah. He's the normal one in the situation. Like, imagine back in the 80s, you're friends with this guy, and you've known him, it seems like, for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he comes home dressed up like a woman, and he's got all these women's clothes.
Yeah.
Like,
I think in the 80s, you're just instantly like, great, now everyone thinks we're gay.
Yeah.
and that was a bad thing back then. So.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was like the first 30 minutes of the movie.
Oh, man.
I didn't even get all the funny parts either. Like,
there's a lot of
much
scenes
stuff in it,
and there's a lot of dialogue, and a lot of it is Dorothy. Like,
you
have to watch the movie to kind
of
get all the humor.
Yeah,
I like how she lands that job just by laying into those guys. She kind of puts like the woman, what do you call it? She puts all women on her shoulders and starts laying into the people there, and that's kind of what wins her the job. She really stands up
for women's rights in the workplace.
Women's rights. There you go.
Yeah, that's what you're looking for.
That's what I was searching for.
And also when they're at the restaurant with her agent, that's when.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Ordered the drink. I was too caught up in the table thing. See, it got me all messed up.
The Dubonnet.
The Dubonnet
cocktail. So it's Dubonnet Rouge, a grand apéritif de France. And we use Dry Fly Gin from Spokane. Yeah. Oh, you had a real... How was that drink? I saw you.
It's something. I don't know. It's really winey. Like, I got a lot of, like... I mean, this Dubonnet stuff is like a fancy, like, wine vermouth type addition, I guess.
This is interesting.
But it's like if you put a little bit of gin and wine, is what it's. I don't know.
Let me read the recipe of what we did here.
It's different. I don't know if I'd ever order one. I don't know if you could even order one at a bar.
Well, yeah, I would be curious.
But I don't think this one made it to your favorite local drinking establishment. I'll put it like that.
Apparently the one of the. Okay, so let me go here. The ingredients are 1.5 ounces of gin, 3/4 ounce of Dubonnet Rouge. I did see some recipes that called for a little shake of orange bitters, like 1 dash.
I don't know if that would have done much.
Yeah, it would probably get lost in all the sweetness of this. Did you just see the cat on this?
No.
The cat is holding this bottle.
I just went to Total Wine & More and picked it up. It's only like, if you don't have all the taxes we have here, it's only $18 for the bottle.
Oh, yeah.
But when they add all the taxes, closer to probably like 22 or 24 probably.
Those taxes will never go away. Like they'll legalize weed and everything, make so much tax revenue, and then they'll never take away any tax they already have.
They'll just keep adding more. Now they're going to try to tax Idaho and Oregon for getting gas in our state.
I saw that.
So stupid.
But
anyways.
So I didn't really finish it. So you put those two ingredients into the shaker or just a glass because you don't want to shake a all alcohol
Drink.
cocktail because it clouds it up or whatever. Stir it up, strain it into 2 chilled martini glasses, Roy. These were chilled at one point. I also put them in the freezer, so I rinsed the inside of them, let them dry for just half a second, and then put them in the freezer so we didn't have all that
Condensation.
Yeah. I thought it was genius.
Yeah.
And ultimately just waters down your drink, but it was cool.
I think we're going to be stuck with this bottle of Dubonnet for a while.
I don't know. If
you
it's
like
anything
it?
like the Galliano,
Do you
we'll
like
find a
this?
way.
I mean, even when you smell it, it smells like you just opened up like a cheap bottle of wine and are just having
I mean,
a steak dinner or something. This would probably be good with a steak dinner.
I'd want to try it with a different gin. A dried. So the dry fly gin is more of your like, what are those things the girls drink? Your Greyhounds, like more with juices and stuff. This is more of like, I want to try it with like Beefeater or something like that. Because that gin is kind of, I don't know if I'd say sweet, but it's got a lot of flavors going on.
Yeah.
And this has...
I mean, I don't know. The second drink wasn't as bad. But it totally, when you smell it, doesn't it smell like you're just drinking a red?
Yeah, it's... I don't mind it.
Yeah.
It's a good way to, if you're trying to tell somebody you're just drinking some rosé.
Yeah.
But you're really
want a little kick on it.
Sneaking in
I wonder, like, do you
ton of
think
gin?
that was discovered? Like, someone was having wine, like, I'm not really a wine person. Let's throw some gin on here. And they floated a thing of gin on it.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I think most drinks that are this old, it's an old drink, like from Queen Elizabeth II, and her mom preferred it. They preferred it served on the rocks.
Oh. I mean, it was frosted glass, so.
Let me read some
Deconstructed
notes from
rocks.
a reviewer named Sean Johnson from the Spruce Eats website that I've been, I didn't get to connect with Tom
With your guy in New York.
Tom Macy today.
You
or
probably
this time.
have a special story about it since the film was in New York.
I was thinking of emailing him like, hey, you got anything for
stuff?
Tootsie? All right, so he says, this guy, Sean Johnson, says, this is another fantastic cocktail that was born in the origins of the martini. Okay. As the first martini was made with Italian sweet vermouth, very similar to the Martinez cocktail, with a few more rich notes such as coffee and dark fruit. The Dubonnet cocktail is perfect for a sunny afternoon.
That's where we went wrong.
Yeah, maybe it's the basement.
Yeah. This would have been good on Friday.
Let's see if I got anything else about this drink. I think I like it.
I bet Andrew would probably like it. Or maybe even your wife.
Completely unique. It kind of tastes like a watered down cheap wine.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm thinking. Like,
but you don't taste the
what was
gin.
the old
like
box wines you could get from like the grocery store when we were younger?
Yeah, the Franzia.
Yeah, Franzia.
Franzia sangria. It
Yeah.
does kind of have that taste to it.
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe that's why it caught me back, because I've drank quite a bit of that in my younger days.
I think it's quite drinkable. I think I'm gonna say I like it. If it was on a menu, and it was the only thing on the menu, I would probably order it.
Well, yeah, I would too. If it was the only thing on the menu. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'd go searching for it.
No.
But I don't know. If it was offered to me somewhere for some reason,
Yeah.
I would take it.
It's sweeter. So the Dubonnet Rouge wine, I guess, it's sweeter than a sweet vermouth.
Yeah,
So
maybe that's what it is. It's just the sweetness.
I think the sweetness is getting you. I wonder if you could do an old fashioned with this
like instead of the vermouth.
instead of the sugar cube. And throw the bitters in there.
Maybe.
I might have to. I
We have
feel
a-
another drink coming on
We
here.
have a long day of daddy daycare coming up.
We do.
So that might be in the cards.
Daddy daycare with so much alcohol.
It's going to be 3 dads and...
Actually,
10
4. We
kids.
might have picked up an extra one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Old Chuck the Butcher.
nice.
Yeah, he's
That's always a good
hoot.
time.
Yeah.
All right. He'll be in his Halloween costume from 2 years ago.
Oh, he pulls off a really good creepy coach
From the 70s.
from the 70s. Mustache. He's got that pose.
Yeah, he's got it down. He missed his calling.
Some would say he fell.
Anyway, let's get back to this movie before people are like, what are these two guys talking about?
Yeah, I'm still trying to. I think I'm hesitating to go back to the movie because I think this drink is good.
Yeah.
It's not what I was expecting at all.
I mean, It's probably better than what's that one drink we did?
Oh,
I didn't like it all.
The tequila sunrise.
No,
Oh
it was
no,
okay.
I can't think of it. What movie was it in?
I don't know. I didn't like it that much. so I
God damn it,
forgot.
Roy.
Yeah, I mean, if
All
you
right.
go into it thinking you're having a wine, you're probably fine.
Yeah. What
If
if
you go
you
into
threw a little 7-Up in it?
yeah,
Club soda.
little carbonation.
I think that's
Could you be
defeating
on
the
the
whole
way
purpose.
of making your second drink, Ryan?
We're getting close. Did I ever
second
say the
customer?
name of the...
You put it on the YouTube channel.
Oh, that's right.
And like a reader ticker, like a sports ticker.
That
on
was
the bottom.
the Galliano with... Oh, we're just talking about stuff we can't remember.
Yeah, no, it was the martini from No Time to Die, but
Oh, it was
Use
the
the-
Vesper
yeah,
with
the
Galliano
Vesper,
instead
yeah.
of the Lille Blanc.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're calling it the Neon Moon because it looks like
kind of neon.
Neon Moon. It's a good song.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back into the movie here. We divided this movie up by 30-minute increments to take notes on because we're still dialing in this system here.
And in case you were wondering, it's not quite as enjoyable watching a movie when you're constantly looking for notes to take.
Kind of feels like homework.
Yeah.
And I feel like I miss all the funny parts
Yeah.
because I'm like...
I feel like you got the best 30 minutes of the movie.
Oh, yeah, probably. Well, let's see if my notes get it out. All
you
right,
got
so...
the start in the middle. Second half in the middle.
Right.
you
My
got-
second 30 was only like 20 minutes long,
Yeah.
too. That's what I was psyched up about. All right, so we go from him meeting his agent in the cocktail area, gets some new clothes, and then he meets up and tells Sandy that he is going to... I can't quite remember. He tells her that she's going to star in his roommate's
Yeah.
play,
And they're going out to eat.
and they're going out to eat. He doesn't really tell her that he won the part.
Yeah. 'cause
Well, he
hasn't
doesn't
figured-
tell her.
I think that's why they were going to go to dinner. So he could break it to her that he got the
okay.
part that she went for.
That's right.
As of right now, the only person that knows that he's playing two different people in
Yeah.
his real life
It's
is
Jeff,
Jeff and him.
Yeah.
And his agent.
Bill Murray, and the agent.
Yeah.
So they go to her house. She wants to take a shower real quick before she's in the shower. This is bizarre to me. He
Yeah.
goes in, he's like looking for outfits, totally understandable, but then tries to try one on.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure like the water turns off in the
Yeah.
shower and he's like, I can get this done.
Yeah.
So she walks out when he's like buck ass naked almost, like he's got underwear on.
His like pants are at his ankles.
She goes, Michael. And he can't think of what to say. He just goes, I want you.
Yeah. And she's like, what?
And that's how women were back in the day. You just put it out, just strip down
Yeah,
after
I
the
guess
shower
so.
and things are happening.
And then they did what two consenting adults do.
Yeah. They
Try to keep this.
They got their
as
freak on.
possible. Yeah.
a couple of Dubonnets later, they're loosened up and ready to party. That's not the truth. They didn't have that, but
No, it goes to the next morning, I believe.
okay. And then after they do the deed, they are kind of talking, and they end up setting up a date for the next
Oh yeah,
day.
because she was like, "Well, is this just gonna be a thing when like we did this one time, and now you're gonna break my heart, and then it's gonna be weird?"
Right.
And he's like, "No," like because he wasn't even planning on
No.
doing that. I
Right.
don't think that was his intention at all. He was just trying to get out of his weird
Yeah.
situation he put him in.
And I mean, I'm surprised she went along with it, but
I mean, she must have wanted him too.
yeah, they've been friends for 6 years. A
Yeah.
lot of tension, a lot
And
of
then
flirting. Probably
He makes a second date to prove to her that he's not
Yeah.
gonna ghost her. Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. Then we go into a montage of Michael, what it takes for Michael to turn into Dorothy.
Oh yeah.
It's really
Because he can't have the show do his makeup and hair
Yeah.
because he has to put on a lot of makeup and fake hair.
glue and everything. He he leaves after getting Jeff's seal of approval, and Jeff kind of just messes up the hair a little bit,
Yeah.
which I thought was a nice touch. You don't want to look too much like you got a wig.
Yeah. Because he was like, "Oh, it's a little high."
Yeah,
He's
and
like, "Oh, can you fix me?"
so he leaves the building and tries to hail a cab, and he's like, "Cat," or whatever they say, right here,
Yeah,
here,
taxi.
taxi, and then taxi.
Yeah, because it's just gonna go right by her.
A couple
And
of taxi. A couple of times he goes from girl voice to guy voice,
Yeah.
and it is pretty.
Reminded
it's
me
pretty
of Nostalgia
funny.
Fire. Do you think
Yeah.
Rob Williams took some of his hints from this movie?
I think so. I mean, I thought of that the
I
whole
wish
movie.
I wish there. I guess there's a drink in that movie when they're at the restaurant.
I can remember the restaurant, but I don't remember the drink.
When he's with the owner of the studio that he's working for.
Yeah.
And then he gives Pierce Brosnan a Heimlich.
Oh, yep. We'll have to look at that.
It's
Right?
like
We could go do a couple of cross-dressing shows.
Yeah. Compare everything. Talking about lifestyle we know nothing about.
Wait, is there cross-dressing in it? Then it's not. We're not interested.
Yeah.
All right, where are we at here? So he arrives at the studio for Dorothy arrives at the studio for her job. Goes into the women's dressing room and is really shocked when she finds Gina Davis in some skimpy, her underwear.
Yeah,
because she's in her dressing room. But
I guess it would probably be like the sexiest underwear you could probably buy in like the 80s for a woman. Probably.
Yeah, I would say
I don't
so.
think there was like thongs or lacy stuff around back then. I don't know. But yeah,
If we haven't like totally proven we know nothing about what we're talking about by now, we're only halfway through the movie. So yeah, he's like completely stunned that she's like, basically undressed. So they talk about Dr. Brewster, and she goes, "Oh, he kisses all the women. We call him the tongue."
Yeah,
which is just
so gross.
I'm just sorry for women that live through this experience sometimes.
I guess that's the main part of this movie.
Yeah,
how bad women are treated in general. Even a little bit today.
And he tries to make it right. It's like this movie is of its time trying to do some good, but if you watch it from this lens of today, it's like a little complicated.
Kind of going backwards and forwards.
Especially when he starts later
on.
Yeah. Okay, so the tongue, they're on the set. The director is going through the scene describing how everyone should act. The director is dismissing all of Dorothy's concerns about the scene, primarily with the kissing scene. Michael improvises during the kissing scene and smacks the doctor on his head with a couple of papers, and he says, "You'll have to win me with my mind, not your lips."
He has some. I mean, it's all written out, but like he has some witty lines. When he's Dorothy, he
handles all those situations in a way that doesn't take him out of character and serves the greater purpose, I guess. Let's see here. So he smacks him. The doctor,
that makes me even more interested.
The doctor does end up kissing her
after this.
And goes, "Welcome aboard." Lays one on her. That guy is just so creepy.
Oh yeah.
And then they kind of show that this is the first time you see that Julia, the nurse that's acting in the show, is dating the director of the show. Flash to Michael and Jeff in the apartment now. This is the whole part.
Oh, is this the phone part?
Yeah, the ringing, arguing over who's going to answer. Jeff leaves, and then Michael realizes he stood up Sandy.
Yeah.
So he calls her and pretends to has the flu, which is classic.
Yeah.
And
she totally moms him, too.
Yeah.
She'll take your temperature all the time and a lot of vitamin C.
She's a nice girl. It's just too bad. It's too bad what's happening to her. I don't really know what her character arc ends. Oh, she just ends. Never mind. She gets mad at him and they don't talk again, or as friends.
Yeah.
Dorothy is starting to get really popular with the show, recognized on the street, walking out of the studio. Starts to be really popular in pop culture and
she's getting all these like cover girl photo shoots.
Yeah, huge montage of like every magazine you could dream of.
And that's where they get like the movie poster from too. It's from that scene when they're doing the patriotic one.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha. In another scene with Dr. Brewster, Dorothy grabs his chin and starts giving him just lecturing him.
Yeah. Because he has to read the teleprompter.
Yeah,
he's like, talking like this the whole time.
So she grabs his chin and it's just and he can't look.
Yeah.
Finally lets him go, and this is just driving Dr. Brewster wild.
Yeah.
Like he's really into this.
He likes being talked down to by a woman.
Yeah.
I think.
And
Like being pushed around a little bit.
it does seem like it. Dorothy says the director of The Kissing, another actor, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what my note is there, Roy. It's confusing. Let's go on to the next note. So I'm going to skip ahead just a touch here and cut to Jeff and Michael trying to decide what Dorothy will wear at the dinner with Julia.
Oh, yeah. She's going to go read
Going
lines.
over to their house, and they're at this point kind of starting a friendship, I would say.
like
And kind of
coworker friends.
yeah,
It's
like
weird
a mom
relationship, though.
coworker, but also best friend,
Yeah.
teenage girl.
It's a strange relationship.
Very
But I
complicated.
think Julie has other things set up for her than
Yeah.
what she's planning.
That's actually a good point. If they would have like had a scene earlier of her and her dad like
Telling
her like trying
backstory.
to hook him up with someone else,
Yeah.
then you might know that. Because their whole friendship starts
It's
off
like
pretty
a
weird.
Like she has some other intentions with Dorothy than just to be friends.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a weird kind of like
This is where the movie, honestly,
girlfriend
from here on, it
/ mom.
gets out there a little
Yeah.
bit. So Dorothea. So I used voice text for all my notes. So all the names are like
A little off.
just wacky. It's so funny. And then I started thinking like that must be what everybody hears in the podcast. Like, is the voice texting actually what I said? What it sounded like? If that's true, like nobody knows what the hell is
Yeah.
going on here.
I tried voice texting a couple times. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
And so I just do it the old-fashioned way.
That's
with
because
my thumbs.
That's because you talk into your beard, Roy.
I'm
Have
even
you ever
waiting to get
tried?
that line out? I haven't. Yet.
Have you ever tried putting your phone up by your ear?
Nope.
Instead of like through the beard.
I like to put it right here.
Can you hear me now? I got you on speakerphone. I have been waiting to get that line
I
on
know
there
you have.
to force it there, but now that
It worked.
it's
It's out on the air now.
yeah, we'll get it going. All right, so Dorothy shows up to dinner with Julia. She finds out that she's got a 14-month-old baby named Amy,
Yep.
right?
I
Okay.
believe so.
I think I had some Manhattans
But
when I was watching
do you
this, and
think
I
it's
was like,
the director's baby? Or they never
I don't
really,
think
they never
so.
really said.
no, I don't think so.
Just a scheme that didn't work her way.
Yeah, I think it was probably, they
kind
don't
of-
really talk about it.
But you kind of get a feeling that she kind of
I think
is
they,
floating around
okay.
like, to get ahead in life.
Well, I don't know. I kind of got more of the vibe that they were just trying to make her seem older. So the relationship with Dorothy wasn't
Makes more sense.
completely goofy because
Yeah.
it's like a 20-year-old with a 45-year-old
Yeah.
secretary woman. Dorothy claims to have had one previous husband and proceeds to describe himself, basically. So he's like going through how Michael is, basically.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny in this scene. They were like, it's a daytime drama, not a soap opera.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the lady used to fire people if they said soap.
Yeah.
But they are the. Have you ever watched the soap?
I've tried.
Oh, they're the worst acting. Like, way over dramatic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a daytime drama. So,
Right.
I mean, that's the whole point. But it's like, how can people, like, be so into these shows?
The real question is, how can they die from cancer and gunshot wounds and car accidents and still star in the show
Yeah.
for 40 years
Yeah.
straight?
Just as another character. It's his long lost twin brother.
His twin brother. I think it's funny. I've never been into him. Amy's watched a few. She used to watch one with her grandma. I can't remember what it was, but it was always just kind of a sweet way for them to
Yeah.
spend time together. I miss that woman. Let's see here. Back to this. Dorothy starts getting to know Julia. She's asking a lot of prying questions about the director and how she gets treated. Dorothy all of a sudden realizes that Michael's going to miss his date with Sandy again and basically has to rush out of there. And then, so flash to Michael is at Sandy's for dinner now. She was like,
Oh, yeah, because he's
they
like,
keep
oh, no.
they keep flashing to her like really going to town on some meat, ground beef, and
Meatloaf.
oh, was it a meatloaf?
I think so.
I
Man, why else would we mix that much meat in a bowl?
like to make 10,000 meatballs.
Oh,
That's what I
true.
figured.
Like spaghetti meatballs, yeah.
Yeah, you could feed all in New York. Sandy thinks he's caught Michael cheating with her because she saw a fat woman with a raincoat walking into his building. And she starts talking to him about how
It's Jeff's old friend.
Have you seen? Well, yeah. So he kind of figures out how to get out of that, and then Sandy's like, "Have you seen who they hired to play that role? That big fat cow." So they just hit the fat jokes, like all the stuff you don't even do today.
Yeah.
Like I guess it's for the better, but can't things just be funny?
Well, I mean,
it's
she's
funny
not even
because
that
he's
fat,
not.
though.
No, she's not at all, and he's not. He's like the petitest guy you could ever see.
Yeah.
Petitest. That's a good word.
Petitest?
The
Sounds like
petitest.
Batista.
Batista. I'm gonna go for another drink of this here. It's definitely not as good if it's warm.
Yeah. I gotta drink it.
And it already sat on the table forever. Made those a little early. Roy told me to. All right, I'm back on the show here. Let's go. Where are we at? We are...
Sandy and him having dinner, talking about how horrible Dorothy is at acting at a role.
Oh, the cow, and she's a horrible actor. And then they're back on, basically, it's like a jump cut to them being back on set. Dorothy's improvising again, and is just really supporting women. Like, it's really going that direction. Which
is this when she tells the director to quit calling her Tootsie or Honey or Baby?
Probably. If I run into it. Oh, it's, this is when she goes, see, I don't know if my voice text, like, if I should read these notes out.
Read it.
Because
you're learning the hard way. Can't trust technology all the time.
There's a concert, and Dorothy improvises that Dr. Brewster has tried to get with many women on the floor, and she's going to give all the nurses a cattle prod and give them explicit instructions to zap him in the gadoobies. It's close to him. And that's...
Yeah, that's how it went, yeah.
These movie reviews, like, proved to me why I was a horrible student.
Yeah.
So I think I'm still tracking with the movie, though. Yeah. It's basically, if you're trying to take notes on it, you just go from scene to scene to scene. Yeah. It's like you're in the studio, you're with the friends. Studio, friends. So it's not like a...
And this is also... Isn't this where Julie invites her up for the holidays?
Oh, probably, yeah. Yeah, I've got another thing. Fan mail starts coming in again. Photo shoots, magazine articles.
Oh, that's right, because the lady pulls her into the office like she's going to get fired.
Right.
But then she's like, well, we have so much fan mail and our points are up 3, so like, we're going to have to keep you. Like, just keep doing what you're doing, I guess.
Michael meets his agent. They're both going back and forth about the validity of his role as Dorothy. Michael finds out something about the Julie and the director.
Because
he sees Gina Davis
making out with the director in like the shadows.
Michael finds some self out of part of it with Julia. That's what I have to go off of.
Is that your?
And then that's my 30 minutes, buddy. Back to you.
So at some point, Julie invites Dorothy to come up to their cottage somewhere, like
meet
upstate
the dad.
New York, I'm guessing.
Why? Do you remember why?
Because she didn't want to be alone for the holidays, and I think she's trying to set up her dad because her dad's in love with her, like at first sight.
Which would all make sense if they had a scene previous. Yeah, that's why I don't know why they went up there.
Yeah, so they go up there. She invites her, and kind of as like a backup nanny, I think too.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't want to deal with the kid
because she fired
the nanny,
Scarecrow or whatever her name was.
Lady, yeah, crazy like French nanny or something. And so of course Dorothy says yes because he thinks it's going to be his way, and literally
so we should say like woman. Dorothy is like into Julia now.
Michael's into
Julia.
Yeah, but he is only known as Dorothy by her. She doesn't know that he's a man.
So if this movie was in a relationship with What Women Want with Mel Gibson and with Mrs. Doubtfire, and there's one other movie, and then they all had a baby, this movie would come out of it.
Yeah. And so of course Dorothy says, "Yeah, I'll go." She doesn't have anything else to do.
Right.
And then he has to blow off Sandy again for something. Yeah. And then Jeff is talking with Mike, like, I don't think you should do this, man. Like, you're going to ruin things with Sandy. Like, she's already kind of, like, on thin ice with you. Like, don't do it. And he's like, well, I never said we were going to be steady or I was going to see other women and all this other stuff. Because in his head still, He thinks he's going to get Julie
Right.
in the end. And I don't know how, because he's a woman.
And he's been lying to her for their
whole
entire time they've known each other.
And her dad's fallen in love with her. So weird, even after story, if it did work out. But, and then Mike's like, it doesn't matter, man. Like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go up there. Like, what do I need to pack?
Yeah.
And Jeff's like, man, I think you might go to hell for this. Or no, Jeff says that to Mike. Like, I think you might go to hell for this. And then Michael's like, oh, I don't believe in hell. I believe in unemployment.
I believe in unemployment.
But not hell.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to them up at this little cottage, like farm, ranch.
Yeah.
Up in upstate New York, I'm guessing.
Right, yeah. That's what I would say.
They're like frolicking around, like doing farm chores and like going on hay rides. And
Is
she's
this
riding
where
on the
she's like,
tractor.
doing some
milking.
milking?
And she's like on the back of the tractor with Julie's dad.
Oh, yeah. Just right on the back of that tractor.
And it was kind of weird.
You can tell the dad is like putting on the moves, but Michael as Dorothy is so tunnel vision on Julia, he doesn't really realize it.
Yeah.
And he's not
a woman.
So he's not even picking up on it at all.
But yeah, so then there's a scene when like Julie and Dorothy are sitting on like this swing, like bench thing.
Yeah.
And they're talking, and then Julie has to go leave to get the baby and put her down.
Mm-hmm.
Dad comes out, and instead of sitting on the opposite side, because he's a bigger guy, like me, maybe a little bigger,
full figured, big boned,
and
lots of muscles.
Instead of sitting on the other side to kind of balance it out, right now, and this thing's definitely not a two-seater.
No,
on one side, but
it looked like a kid's toy.
Yeah, and then the whole thing just almost on the ground.
Right.
And I'm like, I wonder if we'll be able to use the stars tonight.
Just awkward conversation.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty funny, though, that he just, like, he's really trying to show his emotions.
He's like, oh, my daughter brought me a fresh catch. I'm going after it.
And then they're, like, having a nightcap. Like, Dorothy's playing the piano, the dad's singing songs, so they're having, like, he's probably like, oh, yeah, this is working.
Yeah.
Like, I'm Casanova.
He is probably thinking that. Yeah, everything's going so well. Got her loosened up. She's playing the piano.
She's drinking some drinks, and I'm getting her all loosened up. And then Julie's like, oh, I think I'm going to hit the hay. Yeah. And then like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go too. Or no, I'll stay up.
Right.
Dorothy says, I'll stay up.
Oh, yeah.
Thinking the dad's going to go to bed too.
Right.
Like, oh, I'll stay up with you. And so then they moved to like the library or something. Den.
Yeah.
And they're talking, and then he's like, oh, she's like, I'm going to go to bed, because he's trying to, like, hint, like, we should, go somewhere private type of thing.
Yeah, totally.
And she's like, yeah, I'm going to call it a night. And then he goes to, like, grab her hand and, like, be a gentleman and, like, kiss her hand, And then right before his lips get there, she pulls his hand out and kisses his own hand.
Yeah. Hard to get.
Good. Yeah.
You can't, Dorothy's not going to have it.
Yeah. And so then that's pretty much the end of the whole holiday scene.
Yeah.
And then they're back at the studio, and Julie is like, oh, like, I'm going to break it off with the director.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't like the way he's treating me, and, like, you've grown on me as,
illuminated
like, a better woman
me.
or something.
Yeah.
Which is another thing. Yeah. And so they're back at Julie's apartment. And she's telling her, like, oh, I'm going out with him tonight, and I'm going to call it off. Like, we're breaking it up, but I need you to watch my daughter while we do this. And then Julie kisses Dorothy on the lips.
Yeah, Dorothy goes for it.
Yeah. Oh, no. That's not right. That's later. Like, there's a whole scene with, like, him trying to get the baby calm and fed and everything. And then Julie comes home from breaking up.
Can you imagine how much he'd be sweating and all that makeup, like chasing around a toddler?
I could imagine.
That toddler was giving him a run for the money, too.
She was not having it, but he gets her down eventually.
Yeah. I had to laugh at the baby food part. Like, he's got baby food all over him, back of the head of the kid.
And then Julie comes home from breaking up
with
the director. And she's kind of torn apart, kind of crying. And then, like, oh, my dad's coming soon. He's going to call. And she, like, kisses her on the lips. Right. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. Yeah. And then she's like, oh, I can feel that mustache a little bit. Maybe you do need to put some more makeup on. Because that was talked about earlier in the movie about why she puts on so much makeup. Right.
Oh, yeah. You're going to dry your skin out with all that makeup.
Yeah. And then, so she does that. And then, what was after that? That must... Yeah. So anyway, so she's gonna go see her dad or something. Her dad's coming over for some reason.
Yeah, it's probably one of those pivots in the movie where it
Yeah.
kind of cuts to a new scene.
And then Ron tells Dorothy, also when Ron's there. So they did kiss before she went on the date.
Yeah, and
then
she's
she
all
said that
flustered.
My dad's coming over later.
Leaves,
and then
yeah.
she comes back, and when Ron's there waiting to pick her up, Ron tells him the same thing that he said about Sandy, and I think that kind of hit him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they have this kind of like good
I'm
meeting,
not a good human either.
Good talk on the couch for some reason.
About how he's not steady with anybody and all this stuff, and that's exactly what Michael said to Jeff about Sandy.
Right.
So that kind of hit him, I think.
Yeah, I think it hit him, but it's kind of hard to tell.
Seems like he had a little like inside moment, like
when
you could see like how he was.
I mean, at least the audience could see it. I don't know if the characters in the show could see it though.
Yeah, and so then Dorothy comes home, and they're having this moment because she's downtrodden about breaking up, and then that's when Dorothy's like, "Oh, I'm trying to tell you something,"
right?
And then they move in close, and then Dorothy tries to kiss her like in more than a friend way.
Yeah,
I guess.
Right? Yeah,
which I don't know what's more than a friend way than on the lips, but. And then she pulls away. She's like, "Oh, now it makes sense. Like, you're a lesbian."
Yeah.
And she's like, "No, like I'm more. If you just saw me without these clothes on, you'd understand." She's like, "Oh no, leave your clothes on."
Right.
And then she's like, "My dad's gonna be here like soon to take you out."
Oh my gosh!
Like, so you got to let him down easy. Like,
just coming off the
you
rails.
Can't tell him. Like, you got to tell him because like he's serious about you.
Right.
And then they go out and dance, and he proposes.
Oh man, yeah.
That's where it ends. My next 30 minutes.
Okay.
The last 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, so we go from him getting proposed to Dorothy's at her apartment. Dorothy is at her apartment, going upstairs, and John meets her out there. John is Dr. Brewster.
Yep.
So she says, like, "How'd you find out where I live?" And he goes, "Oh, no big deal. I followed you home last night."
Yeah.
Like, obviously, that's how I know. So just some mild stalking there, no big deal. He has to come upstairs. She says no. He says, is bummed, but basically goes to the middle of the street and starts serenading her. And of course it works. So she is like, "Okay, get up here so you'll shut up." She comes up, Dr. Brewster, I guess, comes upstairs and basically just says, "Well, I'll leave after one drink," and starts trying to get fresh with Dorothy.
And then it gets real fresh.
And it's
aggressively
pretty cringe-worthy scene. And then Jeff walks in, and,
luckily,
and kind of saves it. And I can't exactly remember
what
is.
Is
Is Dorothy a slut now?
Yeah, yeah. He's like, when the doctor walks out, and apologizes to Jeff, like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't know, like, nothing happened here, like, nothing."
Oh yeah,
happened.
yeah.
And then when he walks out, Jeff's like, "You slut,"
which is just some
comedy,
good,
comic relief.
And
after that,
Bill
scene.
Murray never really goes there in the movie. He plays it pretty straight. So
I mean, I think at the same time he's like, "Well, I mean, you're kind of asking, like, not asking for that, but like, you're putting yourself in this bad situation."
Yeah.
When you know this guy's already like putting his tongues down people's throats
and he's
that don't want
probably wondering, like, so how far are you going to take this character? Like,
how do you let him get up here?
Probably a serious question. So is Dorothy a slut now?
Yeah.
Okay. So Sandy shows up to the apartment right after John leaves. He tries to give her the gift that Julia's dad gave him.
The
chocolates. So she grabs it. She's like just a glutton for this, so she grabs it and accepts it, and then opens up the card and starts to read it. And
signed less.
It's obviously not for her. So she just goes, "Okay, like, what is it, Michael? Are you gay?"
Yeah.
And Michael says, "In what sense?"
Yeah. Well, happy.
Right. Well, I couldn't tell. It gets so confusing because he's like, "Well, I don't know. There's a lot going on with him being a woman, liking, because Dorothy could be kind of gay."
Yeah.
I don't know.
And so, I mean,
he tells
her,
her,
I don't think it would fly today.
No, it just wouldn't. They'd do it totally different.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd do it totally different. he tells her he loves another woman. She doesn't believe him and flips out.
Yeah, and takes the chocolates anyway.
And takes the chocolates.
And that's pretty much the end of her in the movie.
Yeah, she basically says, yeah, I'll be in your show, but we're not friends. Because you can't be unemployed.
Yeah.
Michael wants to talk to his agent.
To get out of the show.
To get out of the show. He doesn't know that he basically signed a contract that you're in it. Sandy thinks... This is, I think, one of the lines. He goes, Sandy thinks I'm gay, Julia thinks I'm a lesbian, but Dorothy is straight.
Yeah. Not even talking about himself.
Right. They're on set again. Dorothy goes to meet Julia in her dressing room.
Real awkward.
Yeah. I don't think, you shouldn't go to the dressing room.
No.
You know? Julia ends their friendship because she really loves Dorothy, but can't love her.
She didn't give the ring back to the dad, and so she's a little bit pissed about that.
Oh, really?
Too.
I missed that part. Oh. Why would he keep that? I know.
Why would you go back to the guy? I don't know.
Julie's bummed, but they've really meant a lot to each other. Whatever. They kind of end their friendship as far as we know so far. Yeah. Back on set, everyone and their mom is watching the show now. It's seems like the most popular thing.
A live special too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So every now and then when they have to reshoot a scene, they run out of time and they have to do it live, which I just don't know if that's a real thing or not. The director knows she's about to go off the rails every time Dorothy kind of does this look to camera and he goes, oh boy. And I just can imagine
because they're celebrating her, they're gonna keep her on as the head hospital,
right? The
person,
main person there.
That's called.
Dorothy goes on a long monologue. I thought it was
some crazy
confusing.
Backstory.
I'm not even sure what's going on with the monologue.
Yeah, it's some backstory that her sister was a nurse and then she died or was murdered or malpractice or something, and then. As her brother.
This is all totally off the script.
Avenge her. But as a woman.
And
then that was a pretty good one.
And he starts cracking, his voice starts going into normal man voice and back. And then basically Dorothy takes off her makeup and her wig, reveals herself as a man.
He plays a southern accent. He's acting like he's never graduated high school. The way he's talking all of a sudden.
Oh, that's a weird scene.
But yeah, so that's pretty much the end of.
Yeah, Julie approaches Michael. Michael kind of tries to do the, see, can you love me? And she just punches him right in the stomach,
which he deserved.
Yeah, totally.
And then he's off the show, as it seems.
Yeah.
Because of that was a little, you pretty much destroyed the show.
A little too much, yeah.
But maybe not for a soap. I don't know. It could have been the highest rated
episode. They could come back from that. It definitely was the highest rated.
So.
Then you go to Julie's dad, runs into Michael at a bar near where, so he collects all his money from doing the show. They start the play. Jeff runs into, Michael runs into Julie's dad.
He goes and finds him.
Well, I thought they just were at the bar near where they were filming that. It seemed coincidental, but maybe he found him. He gives him the ring back. He professes his love of Julie to her dad. They make amends. Michael buys him a beer. And her dad, he asks her dad, does Julie ever mention me? And he goes, no.
No, I think he said she talks about Dorothy a lot.
Really?
Or she misses Dorothy a lot or something like that.
Oh. Well, okay. Okay, so
maybe that's what she says.
Hard to say, Roy.
Yep,
based on this
you have to watch the movie
notes,
and figure this out.
If you want to find out what really happened, we'll have to watch it.
But I think our version is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm liking it so far. All right, I've got one last note here on my section. Oh, this probably closes out the movie. Yeah. Oh, this is... Okay, so... Michael sees Julie outside of the studio. She's signing autographs, tracks her down, kind of waves. He tells her that he and the dad have made up. They shot a game of pool, had a couple of beers. Michael totally thinks he has a chance with Julie here. I kept pausing because I knew where we were switching off scenes and stuff. So I was like, oh man, there's only a minute left in this movie. Like, how is this going to wrap up? Because I was thinking, like, Julie's just going to punch him again. Michael says, look, you don't know me from Adam, but I was a better man with you as a woman than I ever was as a man with a woman. And he's like, you know what I mean? And she's just like, no. And then from that, they just end up walking away together.
Well, no, she's like, well, I miss Dorothy. He's like, well, I am Dorothy.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, there's some more dialogue.
Yeah.
They end up just, she's like,
yeah, just prancing, skipping down the road. Yep.
We're going to give it a go.
And that's how the movie ends.
More
Happy
power
ending.
to him.
Everyone's life's ruined, but Michael's and Julie's.
Why in the world would a woman that's been lied to from the get-go, like, give this guy a shot?
I don't know. I know my wife wouldn't have any of that.
No kidding. Oh, time check here, Roy. We're at 1 hour and 15 minutes, I believe. So we're just, we're long form, buddy.
I guess so.
Stretch it
Let's
out.
wrap this bad boy up, though. We got a couple more segments left.
That's true. So
And we got a
couple more segments. Let's see if this works. Is that show uncapped?
We should recap it.
You're right, we should. That's the recap intro. We're going to try to do the home bar happy hour intro now. It's time to dive into the segment of the week.
You're just killing it.
Give it one more shot
You
here.
put a sticky note down right here that tells you what button you need to push.
You said that last time.
I did, and I see you jump up.
Cheers.
It's happy hour.
Cheers.
Finally.
It's happy hour.
Home bar happy hour.
Home bar happy hour. Man. Home bar, it was really tempting this week. We've had some super good weather. Luckily, it's supposed to get super cold again, so I haven't had to do anything.
Back in the 20s.
I've been in my negotiating phase on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite things to do.
That's how you get your Christmas shopping done.
This is I get to work. Like, I used to be a hardcore yard sailor, not in the traditional
You
sense,
need to meet my neighbor.
but no, I bought something from him. Or no,
No, I bought something for you from
right.
him.
But I mean, I used to just find an item, and I don't pay full price at the yard sale, and I don't pay full price on
Facebook
Marketplace. And you have to. I try to pay half,
Yeah.
which means you have to offer a quarter, so they come back with a half. or unless you've got some actual grounds, you can come in at half price, and then they'll come in at 3/4 price, and then you're like, well, I just can't do that because of this.
Yeah.
I'm giving a master class right now.
All right.
I hope everyone's listening. Anyway, there's this fridge for $100.
Nice.
Antique fridge, it's got the pull down
The
thing.
orange one?
No, it's no, I can't. Don't even start. Don't even try. So I messaged her. I'm like, I could do 50 and I can pick it up this weekend.
Yeah.
I always throw in the when I can get it so they can visualize it being gone.
Yeah.
And she takes all day, comes back with me and says, how about 75? I'm like, okay, we're playing a hardball. So I'm slow playing it. Haven't responded yet. I'm going to let this weekend go by. Because, okay, if it gets sold, whatever, I'll find a different one. But
not.
if it sticks around past when it could have already been gone, if she said 50,
Yeah.
then I'll come back and say, no, I got to do 50. But I can pick it up today or tomorrow or whenever you're next available. I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
You just gotta squeeze
You're in
these
for the
people.
long
right?
game.
So I've got that going. Also, there's this guy posting about some reclaimed wood, 2x12. 2x12s by like 7 feet or so. Kind of expensive wood, especially these days. I'm like, how much do you want for this pile of garbage? Not really. I'm like,
Probably $2,000 worth of wood.
I went with this guy. I was like, how much? How long are they? Because it wasn't in the post. He's like, oh, I'll look it up. I'm like, okay, good. That means nobody's asked that yet. So maybe I'm the first in.
Yeah.
He goes, he's like, oh, they're 7 feet, 4 feet. I'm like, okay, good mix. Because it doesn't really, I don't really care how long they are, but you couldn't tell in the picture. So I'm just, long story short, I'm slow playing this guy too.
Yeah. So you got some things on the board.
I haven't come at him with a price.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to try to get those. He's had for how sometimes there's a whole bunch of stuff and it just says like $2.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to get it for like $4.
Nice.
Like a whole ton of wood.
Nice.
So that's my scavenger attack. That's what's going on. And I love that Facebook stuff.
Yeah, it's good. I get everything off of that.
Yeah.
If I'm looking for something, I'll always go there first
And
before I go and try to buy it new.
The best part about it is all the suggested stuff, like it, tracks your
Yeah,
history.
Sometimes it gets me. It's too much.
It is.
Because then I have to always make sure you always put local only.
Yeah,
Unless you get stuff shipping and from New Hampshire.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Who would ever?
I don't want to.
Who would ever do that?
Nobody.
It's crazy. All right, what do you got for your home bar, Roy?
I ordered my temporary shed, Shelter Logic 12 by 12 by 8.
Ooh.
It was supposed to be here yesterday, Friday.
Yeah.
Something happened.
Uh-oh.
So now it's saying...
Is it stuck in the Pacific?
It's stuck somewhere in New York, I guess. But it's supposed to be here Monday. And then this morning when I checked, it says we'll update when we have a status.
Oh, no.
So I don't know if it didn't even ship or what. But it's on the way at some point. Or they'll have to refund me my money and I'll have to order it again. But
that sucks.
it is on the way.
They've got you... Because you can't, go just shake down their storefront and be like, no, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just give me half off or whatever.
Yeah, so it's going to be a 12 by 12, so I can fit my rowboat, and we have, 4 kayaks and all my stuff, other stuff that's in my shed. Currently, will fit all in there with plenty of space.
Nice.
And so that's all I got so far. I mean, I've been talking to a couple guys I work with about running electrical out to it, and they've given me a couple ideas and possible help when that time comes, so...
Good deal. Well, we don't have to beat it to death, Roy.
That's all I got for this week's.
Let's keep it moving. Is that show uncapped?
We should recap it.
You're right. We should. Ozark.
Episode 4, Season 4.
Episode 4, Season 4.
We're at the halfway mark.
Is there 8?
7.
7. So we're past the halfway mark. If you didn't take math in Oregon, you would know that.
But yeah. Went to a small town school. It wasn't probably the best education, but I make pretty good money.
Yeah, it all worked out in the end. Man, this show is good. My reaction to the episode is shit's all about to break loose.
I think we've climbed the mountain.
Yeah.
We're at the summit. And now it's going to be a hard, fast fall down to the base.
They're not doing another season, right?
No, this is it.
So
maybe some spinoffs, but they haven't said yet.
Right.
And we don't know yet because we haven't watched it.
The only spinoff I want to see is just Michael, Marty.
Yeah.
Marty and Ruth just running
doing their own thing.
Yeah. Just doing anything. I like them.
But yeah.
Okay, let's start it off here. So you start off with Wendy Bird, basically,
backhand complimenting Shaw Pharmaceutical, like a ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
Pretty much to her face because she's standing right behind her.
Right.
Saying how horrible they are and they've committed all these deaths with their pharmaceutical drugs.
Yeah. Points out all the bad parts of why they shouldn't be in partnership with the great Wendy Bird Foundation.
Exactly. And then how great they are for doing it because now they can right their wrongs.
Yeah.
All while bringing up her dead brother.
Oh, that she killed.
And who's in the parking lot in his little 90s muscle car?
He's turning into one of my people I like.
He's starting to grow on me also.
He's the private investigator.
Yep, he's out there.
Does he have a name? Do we have a name
for
for
his
him?
name yet. If they have, I haven't noticed because at first I'm like, oh, he's probably going to die soon.
Yeah, it seemed like a throwaway, but
nope, he's still in it.
Ending up being the only
halfway
smart
through.
one.
So he's listening to this whole thing about how supposedly Ben's a drug addict, and that's why he's not around. No one knows where he is because he's getting high somewhere else.
Yeah.
And doesn't want to be around family.
Right.
And so he decides to go and take a little drive.
Takes a little drive. He heads up to flipping Wendy's dad's house.
Yep. That's later.
That's later, though.
That's where he's headed. He's on a trip.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, he's hitting the road. Flash to Ruth is running the motel.
And she hired herself.
Yeah, she hired
as a house cleaner.
Totally.
If you've watched the show from the start,
Ruth has had just
a bad run
really. She's come a long ways.
Yeah.
But she's ending up just one notch above where she was at the beginning of the show.
She can't get ahead as hard as she tries.
They've got a ton of cash now at the motel, 2 safes. They also stole a safe from the strip club.
Oh, yeah.
So why would you they're in the same room, right next to each other. Come on. It's killing me. Must be harder to steal a safe.
And then she hires the guy that managed the strip club that was the bad gambler to help launder money.
Boy,
at the
he's
casino.
really into that gambling. Horse racing?
Yeah, that's a risky business.
What is his name? I cannot think of it. It looks like a Ned.
Yeah.
But yeah, she hires him, and
he's gonna be the
he's
manager
used to
now.
being told what to do, like basically.
And he knows what they're doing.
Yeah, he knows the whole thing.
So that was kind of good play, but I don't know. He's gonna ruin something again.
Yeah.
Like he has everything they put him in. He goes too far.
Well, he's a gambling addict.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably going to steal their money.
Yeah, that'd be a good guess.
Marty and Javi are doing one of the runs, and hey, Kason, head upstairs, please.
We're almost done.
Love you. We're almost done. Marty and Javi are doing one of the runs. Javi tells Marty that his guy in the truck saw an FBI.
Well, yeah, it's been the third shipment that's been.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like, wow, you're really just gonna?
Yeah, I think it's his plan.
They're purposely doing this. Like,
Yeah.
Navarro is being. It's just.
I think Javi's trying to set Navarro up on purpose by telling this stuff in front of Marty to have Marty try to get him out. Because I think Javi probably knows that he's trying to find an out with the FBI.
Oh, you think so? I mean, that's
my theory.
You'd have to think of something. Javi's not stupid.
No.
Well,
Kinda.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They make the transfer of heroin to Claire's business. Basically, Javi searches the Claire's guy, and then Claire's guy
Searches their
basically
product.
is like, okay, fine, I'll check all the heroin then, with a cool little laser thing.
Yeah.
It all checks out. Javi is standing right next to the Claire's guy when he's checking the heroin. They're trying to still set up he's going to kill somebody at any moment, but I don't know. He's also doesn't have this edge this episode.
Yeah.
And then we're at Carrie Stone picks up Ruth, right?
It was
So
Mr. High Roller, which I like better, so I'm sticking with that.
yeah, Mr. High.
I didn't write his name down.
Mr. High Society.
Carrie Stone, yeah.
That's right. I forgot.
Mr.
about
High
that.
Roller is what I'm going with.
Okay, good deal. I like that.
Yeah, but he comes back, with Ruth, and then he's like, "Oh, we got to go to the casino and celebrate."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, I can't go there." He's like, "No, they'll let you in with us."
Yeah.
And they do.
Yeah.
Marty gets called, and
Marty, I just want to play some cards with my friends. It's my best Ruth.
yeah, and then that's pretty good. And then, so they start playing and gambling. I guess they're doing pretty good because Mr. High Roller keeps going to the bathroom,
Oh yeah,
snorting heroin.
in the most obvious, he's gonna OD
all over. Yeah, just constantly back and forth. And then guess what? He does OD.
Yeah, and it's too
falls
bad.
down the stairs.
Ruth is having fun. That's probably
Yeah.
one of the first times you see her
She's gonna relax.
genuinely smile and having fun.
But yeah, so
He
he
ODs.
ODs. She saves him with a epinephrine. That's a fun drug.
It's a
Narcan?
Narcan, yeah.
Are you sure?
Oh, I'm
It's not
positive.
epinephrine? Isn't Narcan up the nose?
The sheriff says later,
Narcan?
how did you know he needed to be Narcan if you didn't
Oh.
know what drug he was on?
I thought it was epinephrine, which is
That's
adrenaline / EpiPen.
I've never heard of that. I have heard
I've
of that,
had
but
that.
not with heroin overdoses and
I was
stuff.
suffocating to death, and I died, and they shot me with one, and I came back to life.
Really?
Yeah. From an allergic reaction, not drugs. Just to be clear.
It's not the
When I was
shellfish.
in middle school.
It's the first time you ate
Yeah.
a ton of shrimp or something.
Oh, maybe that could have been it. Before
could've
I
been.
knew.
Yeah.
We could have solved this years ago.
I have an egg allergy. My mom has it's an intolerance. My mom has one too.
Yeah.
She didn't tell me she had this till I was 25.
Yeah.
And I'd just been blowing up bathrooms for years.
Yeah, and I think I might have an intolerance to shellfish because I don't get hives or anything.
There's some.
I'm just stuck in the bathroom for the rest of the night.
Yeah, it's
Both
probably.
ends. It's I wouldn't wish on anybody.
Yeah.
It's worse than any problem I've had being too drunk.
Ooh.
I've had some problems. But yeah, I don't
We've
wish,
covered our
yeah
yeah.
our medical
we-
history.
yeah.
But
Glad
yeah,
that's
so
out
he
there.
ODs, and now the sheriff's involved.
She's a good sheriff. She's doing
But she's still not trying to get too into it. I think she's like, why does this have to happen? Election's coming up. I just want to get out of this town as fast as possible.
and she can totally tell all the holes in the stories.
She knows everything that's going on.
She doesn't want to get involved. You can.
But
tell.
she goes and talks to Ruth and asks about it. She's like, "Oh, I don't know nothing. I was just lucky guess."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, you're smarter than this. You could do so much better.
Mm-hmm.
Drug dealing. She calls her out. I know.
Right.
Working with Darlene, pretty much. And she's like, nope, don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And then she goes to the birds at the casino and asks them about drugs in the casino. And Wendy is just... Marty's trying to play it cool and safe.
Wendy wants to burn it down.
Oh, yeah. She wants everyone to go.
Hardcore.
She is just laying it on thick.
Like direct. Well, Ruth is basically hanging out with Wyatt, who is dating Darlene Snell, and doesn't say it, but everyone knows.
Everyone knows it. But yeah, she is just like, I don't care what happens to any of these people, even my own son, like they can all burn.
That was tough, because then Marty's like, I was thinking like, you don't want anyone in this whole town to get caught, because they'll all just start pointing fingers, but Marty's like, oh, well, our son is working for them. It's like, yeah, geez. But Wendy had a point, like, he'll go to juvie, and then his record will be sealed.
But still, man, like,
it's hardcore.
I don't know.
She killed her brother, man. Yeah.
And then she answers some phone call for a PR fix about the casino. And who she start talking about again? Ben.
The brother.
That's like her crutch. It's him. And Marty is just like, why you keep doing this?
Yeah.
You're going to bring unwanted attention to us. Like, people are going to start looking for him.
Obviously.
Like a sob story.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can't find my brother.
I'm surprised they don't have like some weird GoFundMe thing pop up in the show.
But yeah.
Maybe they do later.
Yeah. And so Marty's like, you need to knock this off. Like, she's like, well, it's good PR. And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then this is when we find out where the PI went.
Yeah. Okay.
In Wendy's hometown. And he tracks down her dad. And is questioning him about it. And he's like, oh, you always have a problem with drugs? And he's like, what?
Well, you skip past where Darlene shoots the driver.
The driver, yeah.
And basically that, Ruth goes to Darlene to say, hey, high society, OD'd, just wanted you to hear it from me. The driver starts getting a little mouthy. Darlene can sense it. Yeah. She shotguns him down right in the driveway. Yeah. The blood's going to soak into the cement, take forever to get clean. Wyatt and her bury him. They're distraught.
That whole time I was waiting for Darlene to pop up out of the woods and just knock off Ruth.
Oh, yeah, that would have been...
I was just waiting. I was like, oh, this is when...
You got to wait for a couple more episodes, I'm sure.
I'm like, man, this is when Darlene's going to pop out. Because she told him, and this feels the best place to do it. Like, she was setting something up.
Oh, yeah.
But she never showed up.
That's a good point.
And then they end up just crying to each other afterwards.
Wyatt goes and sleeps at the trailer. Like, Ruth has made so much money. Yeah. Like, get a new camper.
Well, she's playing it smart. She bought a truck.
But you could get a new camper. I mean, not even a house.
But when Wyatt stands up on the roof when the sheriff leaves, I was like, man, that looks like the Billy from Hocus Pocus. You know, the dead guy in the gravesite? Shovel.
He does look like him. That's perfect.
But yeah, I was like, man, that guy, if they redo, I mean, they're redoing Hocus Pocus, but if they need a guy to play Billy,
he would be perfect.
That's the guy.
They dig such a huge grave for this driver.
Well, he's a big guy.
I mean, you could fit an elephant in there.
8 feet by 8 feet.
All right, so the private investigator goes up to Wendy's dad's. All I thought was like, wow, finally somebody is like
gonna question them.
Just question these people.
Yeah.
He basically finds out that the dad is clueless, didn't even know Ben. Oh, almost got that.
Almost got it.
Well, we got tiny lemons, Roy. I can't make a big peel. I'd have to go. Anyway, Roy almost just choked on a lemon peel. That's why you should subscribe to our YouTube channel, because there is so much hilarious stuff you miss on the podcast. So we got to keep it moving here. But the private investigator finds out Ben does not have a drug problem. Yeah. Never did.
And it might have been Wendy. Because his dad's like, well, no, she's the one that's got a problem. She's a chronic liar, pretty much.
Don't trust anything Wendy says, so this is when the sheriff goes and meets Ruth. Why would you Narcan him if you didn't know what drugs he was on? Yeah. And Ruth is there at the trailer park, and Ruth's like, all right, well, bye. Bye. I'm going back inside now. Bye.
She's in a couple new films.
Yeah, she's in
Creating Anna or Making Anna or something like that. I want to watch that.
Man, we started it with my mom comes over on Sundays and we watched it. And her accent's really weird in that show, but
wasn't she like French or British or something?
She's German, Russian.
Oh yeah, that would be a weird
and
one.
American. And Ruth, I can't remember her.
Anna.
Well, Ruth, I can't remember her the actress's name. But I saw this clip of when she's on Jimmy Fallon, and she's like, okay, so this is Anna. She's got this German thing, which means she has a little vocal fry. And then she's like, and she's from Russia. So I elongate my tongue. And then she does some vocal fry. And then she goes, but I'm American. And I end everything in an accent. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is a crazy accent. But it was cool to watch her layer it.
Yeah, how she found it.
In the moment, I was like, okay, I get the accent now.
So she's a pretty good actress.
Yeah.
Like, she plays a really dumb, like, redneck.
Yeah.
In this, but in real life, she's pretty smart.
She's almost unrecognized. I didn't recognize her until someone said something. All right, keeping her moving here because we got a pretty big situation brewing here. So
this is when Javi
Yeah.
Questions his guy in jail. I don't know how they let that happen.
Yeah.
But anyways, he gets to jail, talks to one of the drivers that gets hit on the gun runs.
Yeah.
And asks if he's seen Maya, pretty much specifically. And he's
Right.
like, I don't know, man. There's so many people there. Who
Yeah.
knows? And so he gets the cam footage somehow.
Body cam footage, which
And sees her on there, which,
man,
pretty fake body cam footage. Like, they were like such perfect shots of her.
Yeah. And they would probably blur out an
Yeah.
FBI agent's face.
Yeah.
And even if they released it to...
But anyway, so he's pretty much like, well, I'm not doing anything else until I find out who the mole is. So
Yeah.
you're on your own.
And there's only, like, he must know it's Marty or Navarro. Because there's no other people even in the circle that know everybody.
Yeah.
But, so he stops it.
Mr. High Roller's out of the game because he's too afraid to OD again. He doesn't want to be stuck in
Right.
Ozark or wherever they're at.
Yeah, which is really funny. It just made me think all of this stuff going on, all the big money and stuff, they're still in this, like,
Tiny,
just
touristy town.
I hope they get out of it, but I think it's going to be
Yeah.
a bloodbath.
But yeah, so everything's falling apart for Ruth and Darlene again because all their plans keep blowing up in their face. It seems.
Yep. Ruth, there's a conversation between Navarro and Wendy basically, she doesn't say it, but she basically goes, "You don't win till we win."
Yeah.
It's kind of the vibe I was getting from that phone call.
Yeah.
Marty comes over to bury the hatchet with Ruth, brings a 6-pack of Miller.
And pretty much says that they're going to use Darlene's heroin for the Shaw thing.
Right. Big payday.
He's trying to get her out before
can't
she gets killed.
imagine this works.
Me neither. It's going to blow up. I think Wendy is going to be like the last straw.
Yeah. Do you think Wendy's the only person that lives? Like, if only one person lived out of this.
That would be the most...
I'm thinking Jonah.
Oh,
I think he lives
on.
Yeah.
Maybe. But that's the show right there, pretty much.
Yeah, that ends the episode.
It was a good episode. Next episode should be pretty good.
Yeah.
Get to the answer to some of these.
Yeah. I'm excited to watch the rest of it. I'm caught up to where I haven't backstabbed Roy anymore.
And skipping ahead.
Yeah. Which has been nice to see it for the first time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm going to have to rewatch the season after this so I can just watch it.
Watch
and
it.
Take notes. Yeah.
Enjoy it.
I mean, it's fun doing this, but it does take away, like, you can't concentrate the whole time.
Yeah.
You're writing when stuff's still happening.
Right. Yeah, we'll tweak this. I've been coding the episodes as season 1, episode whatever.
Yeah.
So, next season we'll do it a little different.
Yeah.
Anyway, like we said last week, at least from my end, hope you guys go out and start your own supper club, get together with some friends, have some cocktails, share a meal together, and enjoy the week.
Yep. Have a good one.
Cheers. It's happy hour.
Tony, you got to put that sticky note down. Well, that's all we have for you guys today. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to join our club on Facebook at Supper Club Social. Underneath this week's episode, go and write a review of the drink if you've had it or if you decide to make it. And we will pick 1 or 2 of the comments and read them out on our next episode.
You can find us at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our website at www.supperclubsocial.net. We look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Have a good one.
Take it easy.